Is it race? Yeah. Get around. Sure.
Yeah. Thing on the road, I guess. The West Sacramento Area Flood Control Agency is now in session, and the first order of business is the agenda approval.
I'll move for agenda approval as
I'll second
presented.
that.
You would
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Report on closed session, item number 2.
The board did meet in closed session to confer with legal counsel on several items of existing litigation, which are identified on the closed session agenda, and no action was taken.
Item number 3, public comment on matters not on the agenda. We don't have any requests. Item number 4, approval of the December the 15th, 2016 meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair, I have a minor correction under item 4, just to remove. I don't think Bill Christoph was actually here at that meeting. He just needs to be taken off as an abstention. Otherwise, I move approval of the minutes.
And I will second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Have you heard anything about Bill? How's he doing? All right?
Yeah, he's doing great. He's out and about.
Good.
I'm sure he's watching he'll watch this.
That's too early
at
for him.
home. When it's replayed.
Review of monthly year-to-date revenue and expenses.
Good morning, President Denton, members of the board. This will be the financial report for the month of November of 2016. The agency's cash position at the beginning of the month was about $6.9 million. There was not much in the way of revenue for the month, other than some direct bill assessment and some interest totaling about $45,000. Expenses for the month totaled about $1 million, and it was primarily, the lion's share was for real estate-related expenses, and the rest project support and North Area closeout. I would like to mention to the board that we received, not only have we received payment confirmation letters totaling about $11.89 million, but I was just informed today that the money has actually been wired and resides in WSAFCA's account now for $11.8 million. $11.8 million. And that includes about $5 million for the first advance for the Southport project, mostly for pre-construction activities. And it also includes the first reimbursement for real estate, totaling about $6 million. So that's a significant accomplishment. We've been able to get through the gauntlet and start receiving the reimbursement from the state for real estate. So we anticipate that to continue in the future. So good news. And oh, I forgot to say that the cash position at the end of the month was about $5.8 million, but as of today, it's significantly larger than that. And that concludes the financial report. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any comments?
None. I'm fine.
Thank you very much. Consent agenda. Consideration of rivers mitigation planning maintenance contract renewal with California Landscape Association.
I'd make the motion for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded, the consent agenda be approved. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. Regular agenda item number 7, consideration of approval of resolution 17-01-01, authorizing execution and delivery of an agreement for the revolving line of credit and approving other actions related thereto. Item number 7. Good morning.
There we go. What we have before you today is consideration of a resolution that authorized the execution of a revolving line of credit with First Northern Bank. We've had this item before you before in terms of the terms of the line of credit, and so the agreement is based on the terms that you have considered previously. I'll go over it just briefly, just to recap it, even though it's in your report. The initial amount of the line of credit would be $3.5 million. There would be the ability, should WSAFCA need it for cash flow purposes, to expand that to $6.5 million. But right now, it would have the initial term as shown. There would be a term of roughly a little over 4 years. It would go till June 30th, 2021. So it would encompass the major construction period for the Southport project, as well as the period when we think that the state would have the retention, and we'd have to cover that during the end of the project. The interest rate would be a Wall Street Journal prime rate, so basically something that's tied to the U.S. Treasuries. So it's a short-term rate, and so very, very favorable interest rate for short-term borrowing. There is an unused line of credit fee. So if the line of credit is not used, there would be an annualized fee of roughly 50 basis points. And just to give you an idea of what that's comparable to, when we do internal city loans here, we use the state of California LAIF rate. And so that's about 6970 basis points as of today, as compared to the 50 basis points that the bank would be charging us. So it's very similar to what we would have with an internal loan. At any time, the line of credit can be terminated. So if somewhere down the line, let's say WSAFCA decides to issue additional bonds, and you have that bond revenue, you could terminate the line of credit. You just pay off the principal balance and it's done. But we think that your approval of today's action would allow us to get this in place for contingencies. It's obviously for cash flow purposes. It's not for financing. And then, one final thing is that it's not collateralized, so it's not, it's not committed against or secured by cash flows from the state or anything like that. It's just WSAFCA's credit with the bank. And so, with that said, there is one rata sheet in front of you. I passed out a memo just to let you know that after we distributed the packets, we did make one change to the loan agreement. There was a provision in there that called for certain things to be provided as legal counsel's opinion. For example, your annual financial statements, those don't need to come from your legal counsel. Those come from your treasurer. So we just eliminated that sentence from the agreement. That's the one change. So if you could include that within your action, it would be appreciated.
Okay.
Any questions?
Yeah, I got just a couple clarifications, Paul, that the ability to increase from the 3.5 to 6.5 in 2018, is that unilaterally? Can we just request that? Is there any other information that we need to provide, or?
Well, we do have requirements within the agreement that we provide the bank with your cash flow statement. So they would need kind of the proof that you need the money. And so since we have to provide that information to them anyway, it's not a big issue. So yes, we could, and we're not tied to 2018. They were looking at the cash flow model, and at the time, you know, when the need would be. Let's say it turned out that the need was
Fall
6
in-
months from now.
Yeah, 6 months.
We could certainly pursue it sooner, but we didn't want to pay that unused line of credit fee on 6.5 million if we didn't need it. Yeah.
And then the last question is a requirement that says the Southport project will perform within the 5% of the budget. Which budget is that? I mean, we've had multiple budgets on that project, so.
Yeah, that would be the contract amount that you approve,
Okay.
yeah, which includes a large amount of contingency.
Contingency, and then so you
Yeah.
have that, and then you'd be within 5% of that before there's some concern, so.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
It's a good question.
I need a motion for the, item number 7, consideration of approval of resolution 17-0101, authorizing the execution and delivery of an agreement for the revolving line of credit and approving other actions related thereto.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
With the
With the
modification?
Oh, yeah,
The,
okay, yeah.
clarification on the
Been
terms.
moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. It is so ordered. WSAFCA project updates.
Good morning again, President Denton and members of the board. I'd just like to go over a couple of the items that's contained in the progress report that you have before you. For the Southport project and permitting, in communication with the Corps, we anticipate them issuing both the Section 404 and 408 permits on February 1, basically at the end of this month. Currently, we're receiving submittals from the contractor, such things as project schedule and other items. They also are going to be working on levee slurry wall exploratory borings for mix design and other submittals, and this will take place over the next couple of months. We're anticipating construction activity, at least based on their scheduled submittal, to start with like demo and tree removal beginning of March. And then obviously levee work won't start till we get to the window mid-April. And that is subject to change based on staff's working with the contractor over the course of the next month or so on that schedule and deliverables. And weather, yeah, good point. Under utility relocation, AT&T has been working pretty diligently on their portion of the utility relocation. However, with the storms that we've been experiencing, their crews have been pulled away to other locations, so that has been a little bit of a hiccup in their schedule for getting things done, but they assure us that they'll have their relocation work completed in time to support our construction activities. On the Borrow One site, last month we received the Caltrans encroachment permit, so we can do the work out there, and staff is today attending the Yolo County Planning Commission meeting where they're hearing the surface mining permit application, so we're keeping our fingers crossed that he brings word back that that's passed the commission, and we're well on our way to getting that permit issued. I think the board is well aware that our general reevaluation report was signed into law back on December 12th by President Obama under the WIN Act, the Water Infrastructure Improvement for the Nation Act. So great news. There was a lot of hard work went into that, and we made it. Public relations activities, just wanted the board to be aware that staff is working on several fronts to work on communication for both in advance of and during project delivery. So we had a kickoff meeting with, or a scoping meeting with Crocker & Crocker to discuss the groundbreaking ceremony that we're tentatively targeting for start of construction season. The thought was that we would be more appropriate to celebrate the groundbreaking or kickoff, not while we're doing house demolition and tree removal, but actual moving dirt for the levee. However, we are aware that those types of activities are, in the public view and all of that, so we're also working on public outreach in advance of those activities, as well as just continuing communication through the course of the project. So we have sort of those three different activities or PR outreach activities underway in discussion now. Under flood insurance and the community rating system, I heard yesterday that based on our inspection and then follow-on information from staff, that's Erin Rivas, who's been assigned the community rating system effort since John Powdery left us. She's done a fantastic job, and we were just notified yesterday that we were bumped down, or we got an increase in score from an 8 down to a 6. And that's a big accomplishment for the community rating system effort. The mark of 6, or level 6, is the next tier for insurance discounts for the community now. So residents now, it's not a lot of a discount, but it's better than it was. At 8, we had a minor discount. 6, we get a slightly better discount. Discounts don't improve beyond that, even if we get to a 5 or a 4 or a 3, unless and until the city's remapped and flood insurance becomes mandatory. Then every enhanced rating number provides more of a discount, I think up to a maximum of 45. But that only kicks in if we are remapped. Now that under our current situation where flood insurance is optional or not mandatory, the rating number of 6 provides the best discount. So
When does that take effect?
I think it takes effect immediately. I'm not too sure how that rolls out.
I got a premium due in February, so recalculate.
I'll check and get back to you on that.
Greg, I believe Aaron notified me via email that it would be effective May 1st.
May 1st.
Okay.
Shucks.
And that's pretty much all that I wanted to cover from the progress report. Be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? No? No.
When you made the comment that the, takes a lot of work to do what you just accomplished, you weren't kidding. It takes a lot of work, and you should be commended on it, that you do an outstanding job, Greg. I really don't know what we'd do without you.
Oh, thank you very much.
That being nothing left on item 8. So item 9, we are adjourned.